I've got 105. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the City of East Cleveland's Financial Planning and Supervision Commission. I'll call the roll. Jeff Heinrich.
Here.
Dr. Fonse Caber.
Present.
Marianne Nowak.
Present.
Robert Thomas.
Present.
Sharon Hanrahan. Here. And the mayor are not. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the prior meeting's minutes. I do not believe that we do not have a quorum. We have a quorum in existence today, but we do not have a quorum of those that were in
That's
attendance.
okay. You can still, as long as you have a quorum present, a majority of those that vote would, because so those are, you mean those who were not present last time are going to recuse themselves soon?
Right, but I won't have a quorum.
That's okay. You do have a quorum. As long as you have a
Of
quorum
those
of the
present?
majority, as long as you have a quorum of members on the commission present, then it doesn't matter how many votes. You should have a majority of those who vote to adopt.
Okay.
So, and the theory is, and I had to research this for another commission, that's why I know this. The theory is that those who are abstaining acquiesce in the vote of the majority.
Okay, great. I will give you some time to look over the minutes.
I would ask that those who were not at the meeting last time recuse.
I move for adoption.
Okay. Dr. Tabor moves.
Second.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Thomas seconds. I will call the roll. Dr. Tabor.
Yes.
Ms. Thomas.
Yes.
Marianne Nowak.
Abstain.
Jeff Heinrich.
Yes. Oh, abstain. I'm sorry.
Sharon Hanrahan. Yes. Okay. Next item is the report of the financial supervisor.
All right, we have a few things to talk about today. First of all, it will be the packet that you normally listen to, and then later on in the agenda is the LGS analysis.
Is this the long?
It is. It is. I'm happy to report, well, we have it through June 30th. So as of June 30th, the city is reconciled, everything's posted, all is good. And the packet is as of June 30th. The city is also reconciled as of the end of July, but unfortunately we didn't get the information timely enough. So through July we're reconciled and good, we just don't have that in the packet. If you could please go to page 2 of your packet. Just again highlighting, the city currently has 14 deficit funds totaling $3.3 million. On page 6, it highlights which funds have not received revenues at 50%. So we just kind of have a formula that spits out the 50%. And this shows where monies aren't coming in as quickly. And a couple of them are transfers. A couple of them are grants. And it's just simply a matter of when you request them and when the monies come in. Expenditures, any that exceeded 50% are on page 7. And the majority of the reason for those that are going over is simply salaries and benefits. A couple are transfers out that are on there. I think Tisha might have even hidden those. But the transfers out are coming from other funds to close the funds. The ones that are there presently are just simply salaries and benefits.
I have a question.
Yes,
If I may.
Yes.
The both on the revenues year-to-date compared to estimated resources and the expenditures, without actually having a person or persons to administrate that area. I would think, though, that with the expenditures, if this is one of those drawdown type of grants, that someone should have been requesting revenue.
It is, and we, correct me if I'm wrong, Tisha, but this is the one where the judge is giving some money.
We had asked at the beginning of the year if the judge would make up the difference. I haven't had a chance to check back whether or not he's made that decision.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Where did you say the salaries were?
If you look at the general fund, like police, fire, service,
Yeah.
all of those are driven by, if it goes over its salaries and benefits. And what we're finding now, a lot of it's benefits. And because and that's the next thing I was going to say, it's halfway through the year, we want to revisit with Jack, what we can change on the amended certificate, what we can change to submit to council for appropriations. But salaries and benefits.
My question to you is, we had an increase in the salary of the total of $60,000, and it came out to more than 15%. It came out to 24%, and that was, and I don't know if Ms. Hamilton remember, that was for an individual going from the administration to the HR. So that was approved, and we were trying to level out.
Right.
And that wasn't a savings. Matter of fact, the council sent over a part-time person's credentials, which was fantastic. And it came from the agency that we're using, that you use the individual for 6 months without pay, and at the end of 6 months, you pay them a certain amount. So if we were trying to save, that wasn't a saving, giving somebody $60,000. And the individual was not even qualified for the position according to what it said, and that the person has to be trained. But I just wanted to bring that to your attention. If we're talking about salaries, and then you're talking about the police and fire and their overage, and you still agreed to pass a $60,000 salary for something. I just thought I'd bring it to your attention where we have it done, and I was kind of amazed that this happened, and it was only 15%, and it came out to 24 or 25%.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. The only thing I would say is that HR doesn't seem to be one of those departments that are overspending.
The employee that got the bump, she's still being paid, her old salary amount is still being charged to the mayor's department. Only the $15,000 difference is being charged to HR. So the mayor hasn't changed in total for salary, and then HR was reduced from whatever the prior one made down to only $15,000.
So in essence, you're still getting a combination.
Right, but on the expenditures, how they're charged.
No matter.
Oh,
The money is, I don't care how you take it, it's still, once you get it, it's there.
correct.
Thank you. Moving right along.
All right.
Sorry.
The city, I want to highlight, the city's made all of its payrolls so far current with the pension, so that's positive. We have your list for you of outstanding bills. on the long sheet. And this was as of August 24th. And we're down under 3 million. And I just want to kind of bring this to your attention. In the report that you're going to see, payables are over 3 million, but that was as of July 9th. This is as of August 24th, so there'll be a difference. But the total outstanding is down under 3. And the main reason for that is the city got current on all of its healthcare claims.
It's wonderful.
Yes, it is good. The only thing they owe is the third-party administrator fee of $26,000. But all the claims are paid in full. There is a new law that I want to just kind of bring to your attention. As far as traffic cameras, the city is still getting some revenue from ATS. And it's coming in more than the city anticipated. But in Columbus, a new law was put into place where if you get ticket revenue, the state will then start taking your local government revenue. So we needed to work with ATS and to find out what tickets were issued during 2015. To then, it has to be reported to the state, and then a reduction in local government will take place.
So it's anything that's received, notwithstanding it may have been from collections made for 2014.
It's
very
got to be
fact that
just
you're getting.
issued in 15, between March and June, if you will now, March or July.
Okay.
Aren't there already some money being taken because we, out of our revenue, because we made an agreement to have,
The salt trucks?
yes.
It was pledged. How that works is, in order for the city to get that loan, to get the lease, to get the salt trucks, the city worked with the county to get their backing in case they couldn't make the payments. But the payments are being made out of the CDBG fund. So far, so good with that. It's only if the city can't make it out of CDBG will they take the local government money. So far, so good there.
So, but and we still are not utilizing the salt truck yet. It's not winter yet, but as far as I'm talking about the salt trucks being there and able to go. Everything is all in.
As far as we know, they're ready to go.
Okay. Because
And
at
we
one
have
time,
salt too, because we.
no, at one time what I'm saying, there was an accident and it was
Oh.
the blade was broken off.
Okay.
And we have, so that was out of commission for a while.
As far as I know, it's fixed, the mayor would be able to answer
Okay.
more of
Yeah.
that than.
No one believes the mayor's answers anyway.
Sure don't.
Well, that's your opinion, and mine too.
Yes, Mary Ann.
On the local government money, how much of a reduction would the city expect?
We're not sure yet, Mary Ann. We have to look because the city gets a pot of money from ATS. Now we have to figure out what was issued in 15 versus what was from prior tickets that have been collected. And it's just from when the bill was signed. We have to go from that date till now.
So it's not a percentage,
No,
not like
Till
what
we-
it was. Dollar for dollar?
Going forward?
Yes,
You
ma'am.
said until now, but you mean?
Going forward.
Going forward.
And pardon me, one more question. What is the position now that PFS is dealing with? That's the one that we couldn't find, and they were collecting money, and they weren't able to get to the city. And where are they at in this equation?
In this equation, we did not build in any, when you see the forecast in what we're giving you, there was no revenue built in for that article. None. Because we haven't seen, any coming in yet. So we're not going to assume the city, we don't know what's going to happen. And there's got to be an officer there with them at this ticket site. So that revenue would count if we did receive some. But since we haven't seen any yet, none's been built into the forecast.
So also, we have not went after the law director, and the prosecutor has not went after PFS to get that money, and how much has PFS generated and kept? Do you know?
I do not have that in front of me today, Barbara. It's on, there's other forms, but.
Okay. So, but I want to make it clear, Ms. Hammerhand, that PFS is one of the collectors that was supposed to be getting East Cleveland their portion of what was collected. Nobody could find them. I even tracked them down, and they talked to PFS, and ATS told them to stop collecting. Am I correct?
Mhm.
And they stopped. I guess they stopped collecting, but no money has been forthcoming that they owe us, and that's a pot of money that we could use. And I see we had PFS somewhere in the government.
We'll see, we'll talk about it.
All right.
Anything else?
Any other questions?
Can you explain to me what love insurance is? I'm sure I've seen that tender before.
That's their property and liability insurance and vehicle insurance.
Okay. Have we seen that before? I don't know if I've seen that tender before.
Yeah, it's been up in the past couple. I put it down below because you can see technically they're due in advance, but we signed the agreement.
Madam Chairman, if I may, one just brief comment. I'm the Chief Legal Officer for the Auditor's Office. The traffic enforcement camera matter is in litigation. The statute, as has been indicated, requires a payback, but it's in litigation right now in at least 3 counties in Ohio. There have been 3 common pleas court that have determined that the enactment of this control on these traffic devices is a violation of home rule. But the Second District Court of Appeals in Ohio has now ruled that that is not a violation of home rule. And we anticipate that the Ohio Supreme Court eventually will make the decision on whether it is or it isn't. Certainly good planning is to anticipate the possibility that you may have to pay the money back, but that's not final at this point. It'll be resolved, I think, in due course.
So until that time you keep.
Well, I think until that time, you have to consult with your counsel as to whether or not you want to comply with the law that requires you to make these filings. That's a matter for your attorney to advise you of. But at this point, as I said, the matter is in flux. We don't know what the outcome will be. Certainly, I wouldn't go out and spend any money because you may have to pay it back eventually. And the question of whether or not you have to comply, there's certain filing requirements under the recent enactment. And whether you're going to comply with that, I think you need to consult with your legal counsel about that, because we certainly can't represent you on that. And there is some risk involved in not filing. And the question of whether that's going to be enforced or not, we don't know. They said 2 common pleas courts have said, I believe Lucas County and Montgomery County, perhaps 3. But then the Second District Court of Appeals reversed the Montgomery County Common Pleas Court and said that it is enforceable, but we just don't know for sure at this point. The Supreme Court will let us know at some point down the line.
That's it. Any questions? Any other questions for Nita? Well, let's go on with the rest of the agenda. Mayor.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Just a couple of system type items, I guess. The first is the recovery plan. The long-awaited and anticipated draft recovery plan has been developed. It has been worked closely with the financial supervisors, the auditor's staff, which we appreciate. It's received feedback from the auditor's office in Columbus. That feedback has been incorporated, and that plan sits before the city council, and we await the city council's action on that plan. As we know, it's required to be submitted by late August, so the administration submitted it, and now council has it, so we await some action from council on that plan. Secondly, Another structural approach to this is opening up another option to the city in fiscal emergency and addressing the structural challenges, and that has been the ongoing conversation about merging with another city. The petition to enter into those discussions with another city per the Ohio Revised Code, that has been done. It was submitted to council. I think it's widely known that that was submitted to council. The city council then, upon that submission, had 30 days to act under the law to appoint 3 members of a 6-member commission to negotiate things with the city of Cleveland. City council has yet to do that. We know that city council may soon or may not soon consider that, but again, the 30 days has passed. I think some of us may know that there has been a lawsuit filed, a mandamus action, against the city council by one member of the petition committee, essentially asking the city council to perform its duty under the Ohio law, that it did not, which is within 30 days to appoint that commission. The lawsuit, just for the edification of these people, this group, does not cost the city any money yet. The lawsuit, as it's filed, does not cost the city any money yet. If the city council decides to retain counsel and that counsel has to be paid, then this lawsuit will cost the city money. The lawsuit, again, does not seek any financial penalty. It does not seek to do anything other than have the city council appoint the 3 members of the commission. If they take that action, I think the lawsuit will just be dismissed, so it can be done away with no cost to the city. Thank you.
Any questions for the mayor? Okay, Ms. Clemens.
Well, I have a statement. You do? Yes, I do. I'm always ready for whatever happens, even without my glasses. East Cleveland City Council has serious questions about annex petition, related certification, and has declared the petition to be invalid. Council approached the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office about its concerns and has been informed that law enforcement officials are investigating the circumstances surrounding the annex petition. In addition, Council understands that on August 25th, 2015, Mayor Norton's chief of staff filed a mandamus lawsuit against council and its individual members in the Cuyahoga County Common Pleas regarding the annexation petition. At a public meeting on August 27th, the city law director told the council that she has a conflict of interest and for that reason cannot represent council or its members in that lawsuit. At the law director's suggestion, council and its members therefore are engaging a private firm to represent them in the lawsuit. Any questions about that lawsuit therefore should be directed to the council's attorney.
So, just so that I am clear on your statement,
You may look at it.
any question about council's lawsuit should be directed to the council's attorneys?
Yes.
Okay, and who is that?
Buckley and King.
The same people that we're going to do,
That are
okay.
engaging in the consulting of other options for the city.
So that's Buckley and King?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, anybody in particular that should be contacted there?
Mr. Graves.
Mr. Graves, okay. I mean, I don't personally have any questions, but in case the commission would have any questions that would come up, so that we have a contact person, that would be helpful. Any questions for Ms. All right, I don't have any old business, although I never for sharing more what's new and what's old. Let's go on to the review of the LGS analysis.
I'm sorry,
Oh,
before we
certainly.
go on, the council had a meeting the other night. And it was to have a discussion about what was happening. And at that point, we had received the recovery plan. And we had some serious questions about the recovery plan. Number one, Sharon, yeah, call you Sharon. We had some concerns with the recovery plan. I received it 2 days, and the council was instructed that we would pass this recovery plan. Number one, you asked that this recovery plan in your meeting with the legislation saying that you needed that recovery plan on the 26th. Am I correct? Okay. That a recovery plan was not issued on the 26th. And the council did not have a chance to peruse the recovery plan. It was not given to us. And another thing I want to make it clear while the mayor is sitting here, there is a direct line to communication with the council, and that is through the council's office. But the mayor and his staff finds it convenient to send documents through email. And I think we all know that's what's causing Clinton some problems.
But actually, it's their server, and not so much the email.
But I don't care what it is, you don't get emails, a document that tells you what's going to happen, and you have to pass this document. You send it to people's private emails or on their phone, and I'm making it quite clear that the city couldn't afford our phones. So every one of us has a private phone that they pay for, and they have instructed in writing to the administration not to send anything on the phone, not to send anything on the phones through email, not to send anything to our private email. But administration seems destined to do that. And then we get an email from a veto. And then his learned and our learned lawyer comes up with a pocket veto. That's not in our charter. And that's the first time we've heard of a pocket veto. And she says, that's right. So all this stuff is flying all over the place. And one of my committee that sits on the finance committee says we need to call a meeting and look this over and see if it's going to work for us. None of them had a chance to peruse it. But the same people, under other actions, employees will be reimbursed by PFS. That would generate approximately $663,000. This is in your recovery plan.
I haven't seen it, because it's not been passed, so I haven't seen it.
I'm telling you what's happening.
Okay.
The signing company, PFS, that is taking the money, collecting the money, and not giving it to the city, is in this. I have a problem with that. If they ain't giving us nothing now, how are they going to reimburse us? And you got it in your revenue recovery plan, okay? And we go down to shared services, okay? Partnering with Christ International Ministries Incorporated to run L&S Brown. Revenue generated, not shared service. They are renting the building for a church at $2,000 a month. okay? Senior citizen to be run by New Life Cathedral. We got some problems with the recovery plan. Actually, it wasn't passed, and it's not going to be passed. And, you know, another thing, Sharon, and I'm gonna tell this to my auditors too, because this council has a new attitude. And we don't feel that we should be intimidated by the administration. We feel that the finance director, if he's going to give us something, should be at a meeting to bring forth the recovery plan and explain what is taking place. He has not been in a meeting. He has not called a meeting for us. And every time we have a meeting, there is no finance director. And I have an absentee mayor. So if you're going to deal with a recovery plan and appropriations that is necessary to deal with the city, this council is saying, you bring stuff to us. You don't send it over the email. You don't send it to the phone. You bring it to our office, and you make sure that we get it on the appropriate date. Everything that they are sending is late. Everything that is done undercover.
I really.
I'm just saying to you.
I understand that. I would just say to you, that is between you and the administration, not the commission.
No, I'm saying, wait for some hours, Chair. Hold it. Hold it. You didn't say that when the mayor was sitting up here talking about annexing. The mayor's talking about annexing and what we did not do. So if it's between us, I'm making sure I'm directing my thing, my remarks here, so that the commission can hear it. I'm not saying you're required to do anything. If he's telling all this what's happening, I'm going to say, yes, this happening. But don't tell me that's between us, because he's sitting up here talking to you and this commission. And I'm sure the commission wants to know what happened with the recovery plan, because you insisted that he have it on the 26th, and it wasn't here on the 26th. And I thank you for that.
Okay, I guess I thank you as well.
All right.
Madam Chair, if you would just indulge for a moment. I'm sure you understand.
They did indulge you.
Again, the draft recovery plan was given to council either on the 23rd or 24th of August. There were two council meetings scheduled, one on Thursday, and another on Saturday. So there were two venues to discuss, and we appreciated those schedules. So that the ball for that is in council's hands, and we've turned it over to the legislative body just as we should. The other structural option that I brought out, the structural activity, is the merger petition for the Ohio Revised Code. Council has a role in that. Simply wanted to highlight for this commission and staff a couple of the things as far as the big decision options that this commission should be concerned about. Didn't say anything negative about council, just I'm sure this coming week they'll look to take some sort of action. Thank you.
I think, and I'm going to say, I'm not trying to rebuttal, but it was received on Thursday, August 27th. And I'm sure that the mayor can make, he's good at spending. He spends everything. So he can't tell us what he's sure we're going to do, because he's not sitting on council. He comes to council. His lawyer doesn't want to do anything as a representative for council and the city of East Cleveland. So he can't tell you what's going to happen.
Barbara, in the truest that I can tell you is, as a licensed attorney in this state, it would be a conflict of interest.
Yes, it is.
And so I could definitely see why she would not do that.
I don't have a problem with that, Sharon. I'm not saying arguing against that. I'm just saying she can't do it. So we advised us to go out and get a lawyer. So we went out and got a lawyer, and I'm not worried about what we're going to do in the future, because my lawyer is going to take care of the situation. Thank you.
The only thing that I have left to say on this whole matter, and then we can go on to the analysis, is this. the statute is clear. You had 120 days to give this commission a recovery plan, and it was not received within 120 days. Therefore, I would ask the auditor's office to look at, September of 2014, what those expenditures were, and that's what take 15% off of that, and that's what the city of East Cleveland has to spend in September of 2015.
General fund only?
General fund only at this point. And I think the commission can review what that means to the city in the future. And if we have to cut other funds, we would have to do that by resolution. Okay. What we've been waiting for, even though Mr. Frost, I would point out, is not here, if we could start on the review of the LGS analysis.
What I'm giving you is a copy of the LGS analysis that was requested by the commission at your last commission meeting. We have put in tireless hours even up until Friday, as I was driving home from Columbus, which I hate to do on a Friday, putting this report together. And who we brought with us, our chief legal counsel, Mark Tier, and a deputy, Melissa Crocker, who is going to address the merger, the annexation, and the bankruptcy part of the report. Nita and Tisha are going to start with the report and go over the finances in the report. So, and there are a few typos in it because